In my first impressions video of Assassin's Creed Shadows, I already called the game very promising. Well, since I've been quite busy since having a child, it took me a while to finish it, but I've beat the game now, so here is the full review. Because being promising is one thing, but does the game live up to it?
I am ready.
The story is all about Naoe and Yasuke, two characters brought together by fate. Naoe is the daughter of the leader of a village invaded by an enemy army. When the father dies at the hands of a mysterious group that steals a secret box that your father was protecting, you swear revenge and go after the 12 leaders.
What is that?
Yasuke, on the other hand, is the right hand of a powerful man and serves as his bodyguard. He's an outsider who fought his way up to samurai status, but when, after a confrontation, his leader commits honorable suicide to avoid capture, he becomes a ronin, and he decides to help Naoe. And so you navigate the missions and numerous side missions in a vast open world filled with different quest lines. Some are more interesting than others, but overall I found the story relatively engaging. The whole Animus thing is also included here, which I didn't necessarily need, and of course the Templars return, so it's still linked to the Assassin's Creed franchise. But this is such a self-contained story that if you're jumping in for the first time with this game, you really don't miss a thing. The story is also great because of the high quality cutscenes. I'm always annoyed by the typical Ubisoft accents in these kinds of games, but in this Assassin's Creed it's really well done, and I didn't mind at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The gameplay is what you're used to. Sneaking, stealth, climbing and when you're caught, fighting. But there is a clear split between Naoe and Yasuke. Naoe is a more typical assassin, while Yasuke is more of a brute who excels at fighting. And you really notice that. It's virtually impossible to get anywhere undetected with Yasuke, while with Naoe it becomes a real problem if you get caught and face more than 3 enemies at once. The skills and weapons they can use and upgrade also vary between characters, which works quite well. However, you will encounter the problem that if you play with one character for a while, you'll suddenly have 17 skill points left with the other when you switch.
I'm exaggerating, of course, but you get my point.
There's relatively little wrong with the gameplay. It works very smoothly and is easy to learn. But there's one major issue, and that's the repetitiveness. All the activities are essentially the same, requiring you to find items or enemies to collect or kill, or are simple quick-time events. After about 25 hours, that really started to get tiresome. I ultimately finished the game in 45 hours, so that's 20 hours of unnecessary repetition. The typical Assassin's Creed Bloat has never been more annoying. And that's partly because the game's design is based on RPG stats. So health is depleted from the health bar based on level and damage that you deal with weapons. But that also applies to assassinations. I turned that off in the menu because I find it fucking dumb that when you put a knife through someone's neck, about half of the health bar depletes, but you do notice that the game quickly loses its challenge because it's not really designed for it. It makes all castles and camps, for example, that are already repetitive, even more repetitive because they get boring. And the horribly stupid AI doesn't help at all.
What made that noise?
Never repeat that.
And it's also because of the world. The game is set in feudal Japan, a time where the country consisted of rock nature, with small villages consisting mainly of low-rise buildings. So you don't do much parkour in the villages or even in the larger cities like Kyoto. But even worse, exploring the world is even more annoying than ever. This is mainly because you can't climb over unexplored terrain, forcing you to use the paved out paths most of the time, which often involves enormous detours that take ages. And yes, the auto-follow feature, which allows you to arrive at your destinations on horseback without having to do anything, helps, but doesn't really make things more exciting. And since the world is fucking enormous, traveling within it gets boring as fuck.
Boring!
The presentation is spotless. The game is stunning, especially the incredibly beautiful vistas with their enormous draw distances create truly stunning visuals.
Really good?
The changing seasons also contribute to the continuous creation of these.
Really very nice and good.
The seasons also introduce new gameplay elements such as walking slower in the snow, but also making it easier to hide in it and even walking across frozen water. The voice acting, character models and animations are also sublime, which is a significant improvement within the Assassin's Creed franchise. Sure, you will encounter the occasional strange glitch or bug because, well, it's an open world Ubisoft game.
The fuck?
And you'll also see strange things in cutscenes, like this one. I'm chopping someone's head off in-game, but during the cutscene it's back on its neck.
That is what you get for ambushing me on the bridge, you dishonorable cur.
That's odd.
But that doesn't spoil the fun, and it's actually quite hilarious at times. The music and sound effects are also very well done, creating a truly fantastic atmosphere.
That sounds nice.
It does.
Assassin's Creed Shadows started off being very promising, but it fails to innovate and surprise across the entire game. This makes the gameplay, despite being well designed, incredibly repetitive and therefore incredibly boring. Add to that the fact that traveling within this world feels like a huge waste of time because of not being able to cut off rough terrain, and you quickly reach the conclusion, out of those 45 hours, I spent a good 20 hours doing things that didn't make the game better, but did make it longer. And that doesn't make it better. Nevertheless, this is still a good game, which I give an 8.8. But I still find it a shame I can't give it a really high score. And that brings us to the end of this review. What did you think of Assassin's Creed Shadows? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And for live gameplay, you can go to my Twitch, twitch.tv/gameplayofjay, and be sure to follow there as well. For more videos, check the suggestions on the left or the channel on the right. And for now, thanks for watching, see you in the next video, bye!